I've lived in Texas my entire life, and I thought I had a pretty good read on the state, but East Texas proved me wrong. Tucked back in the pines, about 2 hours north of Houston, there's a place that challenged my knowledge of Texas. A place that reminded me that long before Texas was Texas, before highways, cowboys, cities, and borders, somebody else called this land home. My goal walking into this place was simple: leave with one thing I didn't know before, one piece of knowledge that would actually change the way I see this state and make me a better traveler for it. And I think I found it. So come along with me as we explore the Caddo Mounds State Historic Site in Alto, Texas.
What's up, YouTube? It's Matt with the Matt Out Here YouTube channel. I drove over here to the Caddo Mounds State Historic Site.
The Caddo Mounds sit at the edge of the Neches River in East Texas. The State Historic Site preserves what's left of a ceremonial village built by the ancestors of the Caddo people, part of a mound building tradition that stretched across eastern North America for over 2,000 years. By around AD 800, the early Caddo established this exact location as both a settlement and a sacred center. The river gave them water, transportation, and food, and the forest gave them everything else. Round thatched homes arranged around earthen mounds. And these mounds were engineered, raised over generations by a society that understood how to organize labor, how to lead, and how to build with purpose. Temple platforms, burial sites, centers of ritual and ceremony. The remains found inside them suggest that high-status members of this society were buried here with full ceremony, and that when leaders died, others may have followed them into the ground. This was not a loosely organized village. This was a structured civilization with a ruling class, a spiritual system, and the ability to reshape the landscape with nothing but human hands. At its peak around AD 1100, the Caddo people here were one of the most advanced prehistoric societies in what is now Texas. Their trade network reached the Gulf Coast for marine shells and all the way to the Great Lakes for copper over 1,000 years ago. They were farmers, they grew corn, beans, and squash, and they were craftsmen. They were traders, they were builders, and they were connected to a much wider world than the geography around them would suggest. Then in the 13th century, they left. The system that held it all together lost its authority, and the ceremonial center was gradually abandoned. The Caddo people didn't disappear, they continued living across this region, adapting and surviving. But what they built here at this scale was never rebuilt. What's left are these mounds, quiet rises in the landscape, knowing that 1,000 years ago this was one of the most organized and connected societies on this continent. After walking the trail and taking in the mounds, I made my way back to the visitor center. I wanted to see what they had inside before I left.
At its height, an elite class of spiritual and political leaders governed a population of 600 to 900 farmers, hunters, and craftspeople. During this time, corn became a major crop. The bow and arrow, which allowed for more efficient hunting, replaced the spear.
Inside the visitor center, the history only got deeper. Learning how the Caddo lived, how they processed their food, how they built things, and how they worshipped, it painted a picture of a people who are far more intentional about their lives than I think we're able to truly understand. Every now and then when I'm out on a trail or walking a dirt road somewhere in Texas, I'll look down and find an arrowhead, and I'll pick it up, turn it over in my hand, and kind of move on with my life. I might shove it in my pocket and never think about it again. But standing in that visitor center, I started thinking about some of those arrowheads I used to find in some pretty neat places. And those arrowheads, they didn't just appear in the dirt. Somebody made them. Somebody shaped it with their hands, carried it, used it, and at some point dropped it, forgot it, or lost it. It traveled across this land long before any road was ever cut through it. And the person who made the arrowhead, they had a story, maybe a big hunt, a reason for being exactly where they were. And I thought that was pretty cool, how this place could draw a simple arrowhead into perspective. I came here looking for one thing I didn't know before, one piece of knowledge that would change the way I see this state and make me a better traveler for it. Here's what I didn't expect. The thing that changed my perspective wasn't a fact. It was the realization that a civilization this advanced, this connected, and this intentional existed right here, tucked away off a random road that I'd never been down before. And if that's true about this stretch of East Texas pine, I have to ask myself, what else am I driving past? That thought is going to follow me down every road I take from here. If a story this dense was sitting right here in Alto, Texas, a place I had never even heard of, what else is out there? What other stories are tucked away across this state, just waiting for someone to stop and pay attention to? That's what this place gave me, not just a history lesson, a reason to keep exploring. If you enjoy content like this and want to see more of Texas, the real Texas, the parts most people never find, the rest of my channel is waiting for you. Every video is another piece of this state worth knowing, another trail, another story, another place that earns your respect the moment you step into it. So come along with me, I'd love to have you, and until the next one, y'all, take care.